Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a full moon for the month of February tarot oracle reading. And Capricorn, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Capricorn, we still all have a little bit of Capricorn in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is Capricorn in? That's where this information will show up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. Be aware this is a general or collective reading, and some parts may or may not resonate with you. This is also a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it now, it's the perfect time for you. If it has been some time since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? Take a look at that, and it may give you further clarity on your situation. And here we go. We're going to start with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, and we have the Six of Pentacles. So Pentacles in the tarot represent health, wealth, happiness, abundance in the 3D. And so this energy is talking about planting seeds, sowing seeds, to be able to reap later. And what it's talking about is when we're in the process of doing that, we have to learn the give and take of, business and investing. And the Pentacles do represent the coin. Oh, my little cat is here. She was sound asleep, but she heard, Colette's doing a reading. She loves the reading, so she's on my lap now. So just take her a second to settle here. So the give and take of investing, and how much should you invest in yourself? How much should others invest in you? How much are you going to invest in others? That kind of energy. How much should you pay people, to do certain work? My advice in that regard would be learn as much as you can about anything you pay someone else to do so that you know how long it should take, and also how much it should cost so that you have a really good idea. Because if you hire someone regarding something you know nothing of, it can get really expensive. So we have the scales of justice here. So the scales of justice are just representing this person is giving coins to this person, but not to this one. But if you look closely, this person has something in their pocket here. And so the person who's giving the money away has learned discernment, and they've learned, hey, I'm not paying more than I should for anything, and I'm not going to, I also expect a certain degree of work, of quality. So it's that kind of energy, which is really good advice for us all, Capricorn. Capricorn, of course, the Capricorn energy is the most mature, most responsible, most wise when it comes to this energy, to the Pentacle energy. And Capricorn energy is about taking consistent steps of action to reach your goal. The glyph for Capricorn is a mountain goat, but it has a dolphin tail on the end. So the dolphin tail, you can imagine climbing a mountain and, trying to get to the top of it with a dolphin tail on your hind end instead of hooves. But that doesn't stop the Capricorn energy. When the Capricorn energy is determined to do something, it just gets right back up and it takes another consistent step. And so quite often Capricorn are very, they're very celebrated when it comes to business. And the tendency for most Capricorns is to really enjoy the finer things in life. They're the ones who are most likely to have designer clothing and, the latest gadgets, etc., because that's their job, is to show all of us how wonderful it is to have the material things on planet Earth. And then we have, we have being stabbed in the back and left for unalive. So this isn't pleasant energy on any way, shape, or form. So Capricorn, it looks like you've been stabbed in the back and left for unalive. It was either done 10 times by the same person, or it could be 10 people who have done it, or it could even be 10 different groups of people who have done it. And it's likely, it's the 10 card, that it also is over 10 years. So this is no fun. The energy here, we have, you know, the real dark sky and just a little bit of light here. And that represents the tunnel, you know, like when they say that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So don't give up hope yet. I feel that this is past energy for most, and if not, it's about to be, and I'll explain why in a minute. I don't want to forget this. Quite often, when someone is in this energy and it's the 10th sword, basically, it's like the cycle has to come to an end one way or another. So that could be the end of you, but then you wouldn't be listening to this, or a blessing in disguise. This person has their hand in the shape of a blessing, and that blessing is the same blessing that the Hierophant, who is the 5th card in the major arcana. That's the energy of the Hierophant. And so the Hierophant is in charge of traditional structure on the planet and also in the spiritual realm. So, you know, in matters of religion, this would be someone like a pope or a bishop or something, you know, a cardinal, that kind of energy. And in the on Earth in 3D and energy, that would probably be like a Supreme Court judge, someone in the Senate, you know, the Minister of Finance, or not of Finance, but of Public Safety, that kind of energy. It could be like the Chief of the Police, that, you know, so it's someone with authority over law and order. So let's see what's going on here. We have, whoa, okay, when these cards come out together, you've been through it. So this is, and this is something that I wanted to mention, but I was just waiting to see how the cards would come up. So in when we left the year of 2025 on January 1st, January 2025 was a nine cycle year, meaning 2 + 2 + 5 = 9. And so 9 represents the end of a cycle. And it's the end, we're moving into the 10th year, 2026, 2 + 2 + 6 is 10, and 1 + 0 is 1, so it's a new beginning. But the thing is, moving in from 2025 to 2026, the shift into the new year, most of the time you don't really even notice that much when there's a new year. Like if you didn't know, you know, it was the new year, you probably wouldn't even notice. And because the changes are very gradual. But when you end, this was the end of a decade-long cycle, and then moving into a new decade-long cycle. So this energy was very, like, it's like a line being crossed. So on January 1st, a lot of people are feeling this energy. So it's saying this happened, I feel this happened in 2025, or was happening. And towards the end of 2025, it had been happening for at least a decade. Sometimes it could be even longer. We'll see if the ancestors show up here. But this energy is saying, okay, in 2025, and probably for at least 10 years, you were in this really shifty cycle. It was a never-ending nightmare. You're wondering, like, what's going on here? The what ifs are the internal forces. So it's like when you're laying in bed, this is a perfect example of it. You wake up from a nightmare and you're like, what if I do this? What if I do that? Like, I don't even know how to get out of this. What if they do this to me next? What if my kids are involved? You know, what if my kids are hurt? What if this? What if that? And it's a real shifty, like, it's a very, this is genuine fear. And this energy, if you go back to 2015, 16, around the new year then, what were you doing then? Who were you with? You can usually remember events on special days. So like it's that whole decade, 2015 to 2025. Just try and remember what was happening, you know, when you moved from 2020 or 2015 into 2016. Where were you? Who were you with? What was going on? That kind of energy. And it may give you clarity, more clarity on your situation. So this does represent a never-ending nightmare. Sometimes it just represents really stifling boredom, but not when it's with this card. With this card, it's like there was a lot of effort put in to put you in this position. And we don't know why yet. I mean, it's not like that's that much money right there. That's not really worth the extent that this energy happened. So let's see, what is this about? Okay, it was about a marriage. Oh, this is the card of marriage in the tarot, or a commitment. Okay, so there was some sort of commitment that you made or didn't make, a marriage that did or did not happen, that kind of energy. Or it could be a false marriage. It could be that energy that's pretty rare, but could be like the pastor really wasn't a pastor kind of energy, you know? And it wasn't, you thought it was legal, but it wasn't. Sometimes that happens. This could also represent common law, agreement where you're not married, but you're in a real committed relationship. Sometimes this could represent a strong commitment in business or a commitment to a group, that kind of energy. And it could include a commitment to a church because of the Hierophant energy coming in here. So generally, though, this is the marriage card, and it's following this one. Like maybe you had a lot of concerns about your marriage. Maybe that's the energy. This can also represent, like following this. This represents that this is fulfillment. It's supposed to be a really beautiful, happy card. And that could be the case. You were in a happy marriage, but then there was this energy be hidden behind it. Because the moon, we have the full moon on February 1st here, which I'll talk about in a little bit here. But this energy is, the moon brings out any hidden energy, any illusions, any secrets, that kind of energy. So this is representing you're in a position where, you're doing really well. You have the ability to make a down payment on a castle. So that's really good energy, and your home is your castle. So that's talking about being able to purchase a home. You still have to make the mortgage payments. You may be happily married, and you still have to work on the marriage to keep it happy, and to keep the good energy growing. So let's see what else comes up. So this is really interesting because it seems like here we have this commitment, and then the Fool would be on a new journey. So this is representing the Fool on a new journey. This is being at the 0 point. So this could represent that now in 2026, that energy is over and you are now getting married. I don't know, or making some sort of commitment, and that's going to bring you on a new journey. So, okay, we'll go with it. Well, I'm just reading the cards as they come. You out there might know better than me what this is about, because it doesn't make that much sense to me at this point yet. I don't feel that this is enough money to go for anyone to go to this extent for. It's a lot of money, but it's not like, a crazy amount of money. This energy, like we're talking about a situation that was kind of life or death kind of energy, like really someone was in a real bad way. And then this is, the marriage is like such a happy card. Like it's when you've met someone and you want to ask them to marry you, or the person you met wants you to, marry them, and you're on a new journey together. So let's see. We have the Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles is talking about money again. The pages used to work for the court, and for the king and the queen, and they would mostly be passing communication and messages, running messages, running small errands, doing small tasks within the castle walls, because they would be between around the age of 7 to 14 when they started working for the king and queen, and then they would eventually work their way up. And if they were really good at what they did and they were well suited for it, they may even be put up for knighthood when they were 21, as long as they could afford a horse. That was kind of the energy. So these people, the pages would generally come from, the families around that were higher society, so, the elite families, because they would be, and they might even be cousins to the royalty, that kind of energy, because the royalty likes to keep things insider, that kind of energy. So it could represent, a marriage to someone that was in some sort of elite society. That could be that type of energy. This is also, keeping in mind, this is an archetype. So the archetype energy is, means that these would always be male way back when. This deck was actually put into print, I think, back. I think it's at well over 70 years now, and it could even be like almost like 100 years. I think it's more like around 70, 75 years ago that this deck came out. So, you know, most of the pages would have been male, but now it definitely could be a female in their masculine energy. So this is talking about some sort of communication coming in from the element of the pentacle, keeping in mind that that is coin, but it also can be it could be, about some sort of abundance coming in. It could be, about health, or that kind of energy. It's about lifestyle, basically. You could have all the money in the world, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be happy, right? And so this energy, like this page, is really studying this pentacle. So this is someone that really wants to achieve. And generally, when the Page of Pentacles delivers a message, it's as clear as it can be. They're very very meticulous about, someone who's fussy about their work and detail oriented, basically. And then we have the truth is coming out. Okay, so there's some sort of truth, and this truth is coming from the divine, like from God himself. And this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. So this energy is what we say when we have our hand on the Bible and we're swearing that we're telling the truth. And so there could be some sort of legalities that are over or almost over, and that, if you're waiting to hear something regarding your pentacles that was in a court of law for whatever reason, that energy could be coming in, and then it would set you on a new journey, because you would have more than just the 6 pentacles. This is a really good start. This is nothing to be ashamed of at all, but it just isn't like the type of money that people would go to this much work for. It had to be more than that. And we have this card, and it's kind of funny, but it is and it isn't. But this card is conviction beyond a doubt. This is the 7 of Wands is someone who knows what they know, and they're willing to swear by it. You know what I mean? Like, even on a Bible. Like, I know what I know. This is what happened. And had to protect themselves from whatever it was. And this is like the energy that is up against this, about this person being able to prove it or whatever. And this is, he's wearing a boot on one foot and he's wearing a shoe on the other. And so that represents being in 2 different worlds, which represents this energy here of moving from 2025 into 2026 kind of energy. And, way back the decade before that, having a certain lifestyle, and then it being degraded, over the 10-year period. So this energy is talking about conviction beyond a doubt. And that's how I was reading it, as like this person has no doubt and they're willing to go to higher ground, stand on it. They swear this is the absolute truth. Maybe people don't want to believe them, but it is the absolute truth. And then I had one of you in the collective, which I just love when you leave comments. So I love when people leave comments and they let me know what's going on, because right now I'm working on my Oracle Tales from the Vector, and I'm gathering information to put in the book so I can put it out. And so this is really helpful when you leave comments and say, oh, this or that. And someone asked, when I said conviction beyond a doubt, did I mean like as in a prison sentence? And I never thought of it from that perspective. So yes, this could mean that there's some legalities here because of this energy here. And this card coming up, when this card comes up, it says to me like that it's that cord energy when you swear on a Bible. And so sometimes this can represent perjury. It just depends on what the energy is. So we'll take a look at this a little bit closer here. I'm just going to move it over a little bit. I just want you to be able to see the whole thing. And I've got a kitty on my lap, and she's purring away here. So you're doing a really good job. She's raising the vibration. A cat's purr has the vibration to heal energy. And even though you can't hear her because I'm wearing a noise-canceling mic, that energy, I love when she hops up on my lap and she just lays here and she purrs, because it's sending that vibration out to all of you. Her name is Stella. And she does a really good job. It's so funny. She'll be in the other room, in the bedroom, and the door's closed, you know, and just enough for her to get through. And she will come flying. Oh my goodness, Colette, you're doing a reading. How dare you do it without me? Sometimes she's not that helpful, I have to admit. But most of the time it's good. So we have identity and self-image here. So you're in a worrisome state. This is talking about abundance and your self-worth. And so you, like, it's feeling like you felt like you were happily married, or you had met someone and you thought, oh, you know, I could actually see myself marrying them. You might have been like divorced and said, I'm never going to get married again, but you were like, oh, this person I could marry. And then this is communication, or it could indicate they were married, so then you couldn't. And so this is communication in early life. So the Fool on their journey is like innocent. You know, it's just someone that they're off, and they're very, that's what the little white dog represents. It represents someone that, you know, is just doing their best to stay on the path, and they've got very little baggage. You know, they haven't lived long enough to have experienced life enough to have baggage. I mean, this, for a lot of people, some people have very difficult childhoods, but in this particular case, it feels like your childhood was, you know, pretty good. And then on this energy here, this is talking about your emotional foundation. So I feel like you came from a family that was responsible about money, and that you were taught, you know, how money works, so that you would have, you know, some idea when you got out there how to deal with it, because it's an energy and a language all of its own. And then this is about your creativity, romance, and children, and that's where the truth is coming out. So this could be, I don't know, could be something to do with the work you do. If you do a lot of really creative work, it could be to do with your children. Something happened with your children that you don't know. And it could also be about your romantic partner, that there's some sort of energy coming out, and maybe that's why you're in this energy, because you realize that they're not marriage material after all. So in that case, this would be a blessing in disguise if you hadn't married them yet. If you have married them, then now we're in this energy. So let's see. We are going to look at now the external forces. The external forces are the EFs. That's when you're laying in bed and you wake up and you're saying, what the EF happened? Like, really, I was going along, I was doing everything that I was taught to do. I thought I was doing really well. And now I'm in this, like, I don't even understand what's happening here. It's that kind of energy. What's happening is the external forces. And look at what comes in. The Hierophant. So this is the blessing in disguise. So this is talking about whatever is happening right now is a blessing in disguise. And so if you've been really feeling like really sad and, you know, a lot of worry and everything, just chill out a little bit, because God is aware of what's going on. And I feel like now the court system is also aware of what's going on. Sometimes with this energy here, it can represent like corruption in the system itself, but eventually even corruption in a system comes to light. And we're seeing a lot of that on the news right now, actually, like the whole, you know, I'm not even going to get into it, but just watch the news for 5 minutes, and I recommend probably not much more than that. You know, and this energy could be representing like this is someone who's the leader of a church, the leader of a group, you know, someone in high up in government that can make like the laws. This can represent law enforcement in whatever area you're in. You know, the people that run things. Like, as I said, the Hierophant is traditional structure. And so it would be really sad if someone in the traditional structure was corrupt, but sometimes that can happen. So let's just keep going and see what's going on here. We have judgment coming down from God. Like, this is judgment coming from the spiritual realm. So a lot of people don't realize it, but some people say, oh, I don't care about spirituality. I don't believe in religion and that. I don't believe in religion either. I don't believe religion has much to do with spirituality, actually. But that's just my belief, and it doesn't really matter what I believe, because there's a bazillion people on the planet that do believe that religion is just what it says it is, that it's about worship to God. But I find like a lot of times it's more like worship to money. You may have noticed that yourself. And so spirituality is a different thing. That's when you there's lots of really wonderful pastors and you know, priests and that out there. They're really good people that are truly spiritual, but there's always got to be someone in the mix there that isn't, you know, and that's just how it is in any business, anywhere, you know. So we don't really know what happened here, but the Hierophant is coming in, and it's the Hierophant's job to bring justice. And that justice always begins, everything that we see, like if you're sitting in a chair right now, that chair at one point was just a thought, and someone had to think, I have this great idea for a chair. I'm going to make a design of it. I'm going to take this design. I'm going to get it to a production facility. I'm going to pay people to design to make sure that it's put together properly. Then I'm going to have it made at a factory, and then I'm going to have to hire some marketers to market it. And it's that kind of energy. So if that person didn't do all that, you wouldn't be sitting on the chair that you're sitting on. You might be sitting on a different chair, but not that chair. And so that's the energy. Everything is a thought at first, and then we bring it down to earth, and we manufacture it, manifest it, whatever. So this is talking about, just as we are doing that when we're making material things, we are also at the same time doing that in a court system. And the court system for the universe is perfect order. And so this quite often means that karma is served. And so a lot of people feel karma is punishment, but karma is actually cause and effect for your actions or your inactions. Sometimes you should act and you don't, and sometimes you act and you shouldn't. It's that kind of energy, and we're all very capable of being, in that in that area, because there's a lot of rules out there, and sometimes it's easy to break them. But this is talking about a judgment coming down from the spiritual level, and it's coming down to earth, and it will be. In the court system. There's no stopping it. If it's coming down, the judgment's being called. This is God's plan, and it's going to happen. Like, it might take generations for it to happen, but it will happen. I don't understand why it is. Like, I don't understand God's timing at all, but it's not up to me to understand God's timing. That's up for God to understand. God is the only one really that has the big picture, that could possibly predict when something is going to happen. This is just a snapshot of when you're looking at this right now. This is showing the trajectory, and that's a mathematical equation. So this is showing a snapshot of where you are right now and where you're likely to head if you don't make some adjustments in the trajectory. Trajectory is the direction you're going, and also how fast are you going, that kind of energy. So I don't know, that was wanted to be said here. So this energy is talking like the ancestors are cheering. They're coming out of their out of their boxes here, and they're waving to the descendants across, and everybody's happy. This judgment has come in. This could be the message is coming in about this pentacle, and the pentacle. This could be something that generational wealth that the ancestors worked for, and somehow there's something about that. This represents probably. Generational wealth, so something that happened to the ancestors, and they've been waiting, even if they've been passed on for years. Their spirit is waiting for justice, and this this sometimes can represent Pandora's box being opened, or skeletons in the closet of families coming out. But the good news is that justice and judgment will be served and levied, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is really studying. There's a lot of pentacle energy. This is very typical of the Capricorn energy, because they're the one who has to be the most responsible. A lot of people think that, I want all this money, but the more money you have, the more responsibility you have. And regardless, if it seems otherwise to other people, the universe does not allow people who are not responsible and have no understanding to have great sums of money, saying that like this Queen of Pentacles is someone reliable. She's sitting here and she understands what her responsibilities are, and so she's sitting on her throne, and she's well known for being very resourceful, someone that can make something out of nothing. She's admired for that, and she also is really admired because she's not all flashy. You know, a lot of times people with new money are really flashy with their money, and they're buying fancy cars and that. And a lot of people with old money, you would never know that they have old money. They don't flash it around. And so this is talking about she likes to have quality over quantity. So she doesn't just go out and buy shift, you know, so that she can appear to be rich. She already knows she's rich. She's probably been rich for you know, her whole life, and her mother before her was rich, and her mother before that was rich. So it's that kind of energy. They really don't know any different, really. And so there's a certain understanding of the responsibility of money that is taught to people from generational wealth from a very young age. And so this can also represent someone who has a trust fund, you know, that kind of energy. Generally, trust funds come into around 35, because by then it's assumed that that person would be responsible enough to handle a trust fund, like if they received the money. And then we have this Knight of Swords coming in. So as soon as the Queen of Pentacles showed up, the Knight of Swords is coming in. And so the Knight of Swords is talking about this truth that's coming out about this pentacle, and the information is coming in fast. So the Knight of Swords is either running to something or away from something. It's that kind of energy. So he may be running from the Queen of Pentacles, may be sending a message to someone saying, hey, we're looking into something that's wrong with the money here. It's not adding up the way it should. And sending someone to send a message to maybe the Hierophant and say, hey, I found where the money went missing, and you need to know about this. And so she's like, says, you know, get this to him as fast as you can. And so the Knight of Swords is really like stressed out. He's got to get there as fast as he can. And maybe, you know, in the old days, there might have been like all sorts of battles going on, you know, and there might have been, you know, a lot of people lurking in the bushes, and you had to be really careful, and they knew you were delivering a message for the Queen or the King, so that, you know, there would be that danger, right? But it would be only a small group of people that would know, not like these days where everybody would know because of the quickness of the information. So this is this horse is stressed out, and you know, they're running against the wind through barren land, but he's trying to get the message to the Hierophant, I feel, in time, because maybe court's in session or something. Maybe it's something like that, and this is a last minute thing. And the Queen of Pentacles goes, Eureka! I finally have found it. And she's letting, she's telling, like, she's making sure this information gets out as quickly as possible. Sometimes it's not full information. We can't see the point of his sword here, but it is some sort of energy like that. And what's significant about this is there's a horse in the picture. And so as soon as the first horse in the picture right now, in that energy, on July 14th, or on February 14th, or 17th, Lord, on the 17th of February, it's the Chinese New Year, and we're entering the year of the fiery horse. We're leaving the energy of the snake, the year of the snake. And the snake was about shedding your skin. You know, every once in a while, a snake will shed its skin so that it can, you know, become a new version of itself. And the full moon on February 1st coming up here, we're finally getting to that, I knew we would eventually, is in the sign of Leo. So the Leo moon is on February 1st, right on the very first day of February. And it's coming up right away here. So you're probably starting to feel this energy. This energy is like, for sure, the full moon. We can feel it about 3 days before and 3 days after kind of energy. The full moon is a great time to, you know, shed your skin like the snake and release anything that is no longer serving you, that's keeping you in this energy, and really going inward and really making sure that you do a good job of that for yourself. It's particularly important right now because what you want to do is shed all this worry and concern and count on this energy coming in. The truth will always set you free, and the truth always comes out. Like, think about, like, in this situation right here, think about if you're on a beautiful sunny summer day and it's just gorgeous out, there's not a cloud in the sky, it's, it's noon, it's really bright, and someone down the, like half a block down from you is carrying something in their hand that's black, and you're like, you're not going to notice that. Why would you care, really? It's highly unlikely you would notice it. But if it's nighttime and it's really dark and you're trying to, you can't see, or you're in a really dark room and someone lights a match, just that little bit of light, everybody will turn to it. And that's the difference between the light and the dark. And so this energy is saying, okay, there's some sort of information coming in. It may be about this pentacle. I don't know what happened with it. You would have a better idea, possibly, maybe not. I don't know. So this is talking like it's possible that, and because quite often the sword energy does represent people who earn their living using their words, like people that would be influencers, people that speak for a living, people that, it could be surgeons, it could be the energy of the medical system, all the records, all of that kind of energy. It could be, lawyers, prosecutors, that kind of, like the legal system, judges, politicians, people that use their words to, instead of doing like labor with their hands kind of energy. And so this energy is saying on the 1st of February, we have that full moon, and it's in Leo, and Leo is all about being a leader. Leos are born to lead. They're just natural born leaders. Like, that's just the way they are. If you ever known a Leo, they're very charismatic, and they can really, people usually enjoy their energy. They really have really good ability to charm people and to really be fun to be around. And generally they can be really good at what they do. I feel like, I've never really looked into it, but I wonder how many rock stars, like when I think Leo energy, and I don't know what sign like Mick Jagger is in, but I've seen him perform like when he was younger all the way to when he was older, and he has such a strong stage presence. Like, it's that kind of energy I'm talking about. And I mean, it's just amazing. Like, he could go for hours and he'd be strutting and jumping around and dancing on that stage, and he had like this real energy of a star. So that's the Leo energy. He was the leader of his band, and quite actually he was surprisingly, because it appeared like, oh, he's a wild child, and he was, but I think he's probably calmed down a little bit by now. But he has a brilliant mind, and he, not just in matters of music, but he really understood finances, and that's why the band did so well. A lot of bands don't. He understood the financial components to being in a band, and so he was very careful what contracts he signed, etc. That's the kind of energy. A lot of people might not know that about Mick Jagger, but I don't know where I read it about him, and it was really admirable. Like, he's really intelligent when it comes to, like, I think he might even have a degree in business of some sort from some university somewhere. So this energy is talking about that kind of energy. And the Leo energy right now, we're in the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius energy is about, hey, I am a humanitarian, and I feel everybody needs to look after the group. So it has to be, the group is more important than the individual, and that should be your first priority. And Leo energy is saying, I'm going to strut my stuff and I'm going to make sure I look after myself first, because if I don't look after myself first, how am I going to look after anyone else? And you'll see that when you're on an airplane, they'll tell you, and the reason they tell you this is because people automatically, like if the oxygen masks come down, they say if they do come down, put yours on first. And that's because, like, if you're a mother and the first thing you're going to do is put it on the baby. Like, I've got to make sure my baby gets oxygen. But the problem is, by then you might faint And what is the baby going to be able to do to help you then? And you won't, and the baby can't help itself either. That's why they say, you know, put the mask on first so that you have enough oxygen to think clearly in the case of an emergency, and you're able to look after the ones around you that are not old enough to. So that's the kind of energy, and this horse energy coming in. The year of the horse is about really setting high achievement goals, being in this energy of, hey, I love adventure, and I want to start something new. I'm really excited about my business. I have a lot of passion for it. It's also talking about, you know, loving the adventure of it. And then in romance, it's talking about, oh, like I love the energy of, you know, being really passionate. And horses, they're all heart. But the danger is that this energy can be very impulsive. And so you want to really watch any impulsive behavior, because this is kind of like if a horse gets the bit in their mouth, and that, like, the way that you can control a horse is by the corners of its mouth are very sensitive. And that's how the reins work, because the horse knows, it's trained to know if you pull slightly on one side, that's the direction you want the horse to go. And if the horse gets the bit in their mouth and it's in its teeth, it could run like this for a long, long way. And this is the same as when you get really angry or something and you do something impulsive. You could really go down the wrong path fast. And if you're on foot and you go, and you're like start to run because like you're so angry, how far are you going to get? Like eventually you're going to get tired on foot. And by the time like you turn, like after running a while, all those positive endorphins come in and you're like, oh, I don't even know what I was angry about. And then you don't make a stupid decision. But when you're on a horse, it can run for miles in the wrong direction. And it's that kind of energy. That's the warning. And so it's saying, and then with the full moon, it's the energy of Leo saying, no, I'm looking after myself first. I'm going to be my individual. I want to express myself here. It's that's the strutting on the stage energy and being a strong leader in that way. That's the kind of energy we're dealing with. So there's a lot of dynamics here right now. This is talking about a soulmate coming in. So this energy is talking about the divine sending a soulmate, or you're going to meet a soulmate, or you have met a soulmate, and maybe you were planning to marry this person or whatever. It's hard to say here. Sometimes a soulmate, usually the soulmate is a romantic partner, but sometimes it can just be, this card can represent your being in your higher self. You're receiving information from your higher self. And this can represent your masculine and feminine qualities being very balanced and even. And when that is so, that's when if you are very balanced in your masculine and feminine energy, then you're ready for a serious relationship. And you're more likely to attract someone that's also balanced in those energies. So it's not like, I need you, that's very romantic for a day or a paragraph in a romance novel. But you don't want someone to need you. You want someone who can stand on their own 2 feet, and you can stand on your own 2 feet. And when you get together, it's really powerful because you're both in that energy. And so it's more like you want to be together, and the qualities that you have really cause an energetic upgrade. Like it's a beneficial energy, not just for you. It's a win for you, it's a win for your partner, and it's a win for the planet, basically. And then we have, okay, because you're a star. I knew there was a reason why Mick Jagger came up. And so this energy is talking about the energy of your special quality that you put into the universe. And it's like an alchemy. You add to the universal waters, you mix it in, then you take that energy and you pour it onto Earth. And here she is pouring this vessel onto Earth. And there's 5 streams here, and those 5 streams represent the 5 points on the pentacle. So this is talking about bringing your special quality mixed with the universal knowledge and bringing that down to Earth. That this is representing your North Star. This is what you came on the planet to do. And it's that energy of saying, hey, you're a star and you need to stay on your path. And perhaps that's why God is sending in, or the universe makes arrangements that you're at some point you're supposed to meet your soulmate. So you've met them or you're about to meet them. This could be past, present, future. And I feel like maybe that is the energy of why this is now shifting, that kind of energy. And we have justice coming in. Yeah. So this is just confirming it. Justice is coming in. And justice is the sword of justice. She's got it in her hand, in her right hand. And that's saying that the blessing from the Hierophant is justice. That's the Hierophant's job. Good job, Hierophant, sending justice in. And that's the energy that is being told here. So we're going to look into this a little bit more just to see if we can get a little bit more clarity. I'm having a little bit of hard time reaching because my cat is like in an awkward position on my lap, but she's purring so hard and she's so sound asleep that I don't have the heart to wake her and move her. So we'll just do it like this. Far reach. All right, so we're going to use my oracle, Tales from the Vector, and it's something I started back in 2007. In 2020, I finished the 64th painting. I had a lot of fun working on it. I'm an artist. There's a lot of energy went into it. Every painting, some of them were like 3 foot by 4 foot dragons, and they have crystals, and they were very detailed, and every one was from a different location in the world and had a different story to tell, basically. So that's why, like, I have that part of the information, but I'm working on, okay, if I actually work with them with cards and I bring this oracle out, I want it to be something other people can use, you know? And so that's what I'm working on right now. The cards that I'm using here, whoa, here it is. There's like 6 cards or so here. Well, maybe not that many. This is the cards that want to come out. And that's how this deck is. So as I'm talking, I was just tuning in, and these are the cards that want to come out. And so I will put in the description box below the numbers of the cards in the order they appear, and these cards will be in the energy of, I'm distracted here because I'm just getting a message to say, oh, I was just going to say, I don't want to forget this. If you're out there, you know, there's a lot of people apparently in the United States that have a lot of power grid issues right now. So just be aware of that. There's people that can't communicate with you, like even if they want to. There's the ice storms. And I wasn't aware that it was as bad as it was. And so that's just coming in with this communication energy, is if you're concerned about someone because you haven't heard from them, or it just seems like, you know, like I haven't heard from them for a couple of days, I usually hear from them. You may not be aware that they're, the ice storms are causing a lot of problems with the power lines, and not just with the power lines, but also, you know, with the lines of communication. So I don't know, I was just, boom, it popped in my head. So yes, I will put the numbers of the cards on in the description box below, and they represent the order of the paintings in my gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. So that's TAILS. All right, so here we go. If you are enjoying this reading, please do consider giving it a like and comment, because it really does help me build my channel. I really appreciate it. That's why I noticed that the views all across YouTube are down, and it's probably because there's this big swath. And it's so, here where I am, I mean, it's chilly out, but it's winter, right? But it's like not, it's like minus, I think, 10 at the most Celsius. And it's probably one of the coldest days that we've had all winter. So I can imagine in areas where it's normally, you know, gets very cold, it's very cold. So that, I don't know, that's just the energy I was picking up. If you're concerned about someone, you haven't heard from them, consider that it might be because of that. We have the Sun. Or if the information that you've been waiting for hasn't come in, it could be also that. A lot of scheduled activities in many places are being canceled right now because nobody can communicate with each other. And so the Sun is about the God, and this is saying this energy here, the underlying energy for the whole reading is this energy of learning the give and take of in life and also in investments, etc. And the sun is saying, good job. You stayed well on your path. You're doing really well. The wheel of fortune is turning. So this we already have confirmed. This is a blessing in disguise. And this is saying in this new energy now, this is over. This is the end of a cycle. And the Hierophant is bringing justice in for you. We have some energy around lovers. So it could have to do with the worry that you have, and that's maybe why I'm picking up this energy. You might be worried about a family member or something, haven't heard from them. Keep in mind about that storm, because I just thought, this morning I thought, I wonder how the people are doing. When it's sunny where you are, it's hard to kind of remember, in other parts of, of the country in United States, and I do have a lot of wonderful neighbors from the United States that watch my channel. So if you've forgotten that they're having a storm and you're somewhere warm, that could be why you haven't heard from someone. And then we have Superstar. This is confirming that in 2026, this energy is changing. This could say maybe you're going to meet a lover in 2026, and it's going to be someone that you really, that's your soulmate, that kind of energy. Wow, that's pretty cool. And then you'll be on a brand new journey. And look at Aries is right on that. So Aries is the infant of the zodiac. And this is saying, yes, you're definitely in 2026 going to be on a brand new journey. And this is, I feel, saying also for a lot of people on the planet, because there's a lot of astrological influences right now that kind of settle down by the end of March. And this is talking from March 21st to April 19th, we are in the Aries energy. And that's when the new comes in, and that's when a lot of people will be starting on a new journey. And especially if you meet someone and you are like thinking about marrying them, that kind of energy. And then we have, the Virgo energy is coming in. So the Virgo energy is about communication. And usually, the Virgo energy, the reason I'm laughing is because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is about communication. And it's famous that when Mercury goes retrograde, which means from the point of view of the Earth, it looks like it's going backwards instead of forwards. Communication goes all haywire. And I don't know, I should check if there is, if Virgo, or not Virgo energy, but the Mercury is going retrograde, because quite often it will cause these situations where these like major communication problems. This Virgo, or not even this Virgo energy so much, it could be that like Virgo energy is about putting things in alignment. Cleanliness is next to godliness, like getting really organized. That's the energy of Virgo. And Virgos are really, really good at analyzing. So analytical critique from a Virgo is generally extremely helpful. The problem is sometimes with this energy is there's a fine line between analytical critique and anal criticism. And Virgos, though, are the very first to apply anal criticism to themselves first, and then, feel free to do it with others, that kind of energy. But when these signs come up, I really want to make it clear. In my readings, I'm working with the energy of the collective. And I am not talking about individuals. That individual starting a new journey and they're in Aries. That could very well be true. This messenger coming in could be about a Virgo, or it could be a Virgo delivering it. That could very well be true. And in your situation, if that's how you feel, trust your intuition. Having said that, that's not my intention for my readings. I'm taking like the broader sense that each of these, we all have a little bit of each sign in us. We all have the influence of the energy of each planet affects us. It's just that if it's your sun sign, that's the one that's going to affect you the most. And that's why people, we deal a lot with sun signs. And that's the day that you were, the day and the time and the location of your birth, etc. Now, the other energy is the state of being. So what can we all learn from that? And this is about communication. So, and I was just talking about the storm, and maybe someone's worried about not hearing from someone. It could be because of the storm, so don't panic yet. That kind of energy. And the Aries energy is the newborn baby coming in, and it's about, I'm here. Now, should I just be here, or should I do something? That kind of energy. And we have the disruption. So this is a tactic. So there's some, it's what's fun for some is not fun for everyone. And so this energy can be talking about disruption. So when people think of disruption, think about, if there's a big, it starts to rain in the winter. It's usually not very good because the ice is very heavy. And so that's the energy coming in. There's been some sort of disruption in communication is what's on in this reading, but also it's talking about right now, I feel like the disruption of the snowstorm causing a lot of communication issues around the world right now, in particular in North America. And we have a transition happening here. So this is talking about, definitely if there's a conviction of some sort, if there's justice coming in and you've been waiting for it for a long time, then it's going to change your life and the lives of those who are convicted, I guess, that kind of energy. And we have pride coming in. So the pride is a karmic space, and this is talking about it's talking about that Leo energy again from the Leo full moon on February 1st. All or nothing, hear me roar. I am going to put myself first in this situation so that I can be a good leader. And I don't care what other people say. I am going to, that's what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. I'm like Mick Jagger, I'm the front man for the band. And a smart one at that. And we have the strength card coming in. Again, that's Leo energy showing up. The strength card traditionally has a mature lion and a young woman is reaching into its mouth, and she has an infinity symbol above her head. And this is saying that you have the courage to be able to face whatever you need to face and face your fears. And so that's that energy. And to do that, you have to really look inward, and you have to really look at what is my role in this. And that's that full moon energy. It's coming up on the 1st. There's temperance here. So temperance is about staying devoted to your path, like not getting taken off your destiny, staying on track kind of energy. And so that's the energy. A lot of people might be saying to you, hey, we need you to come and help and do this and that. And you're saying, no, I have a very big decision to make. And I need to really do my research and really apply myself to that. And they might be upset with you because they're in the snowstorm and why don't you come out and help us shovel the driveway? And you're like, because I have to have this information by whatever hour. And I, as a leader of this family, I need to be able to make a strong decision. And I'm down to the wire here. Leave me alone. I'm a Leo. Get out of here. Let me do my job. And then we have the Capricorn energy. The responsibility, like I said, of really having to if you're the leader of a group, if you're the leader of a business, if you're the leader of a country, and then that trickles all the way down, like you have to make strong decisions. The bigger your position is, the more responsibility you have, and you're aware, hey, this is affecting everybody underneath me here that I'm making this decision for. It's a huge responsibility, like huge. That's why you'll often see presidents of the United States and politicians in general age when they're in that top position, because it's so much responsibility. It's a lot. And so the 7 is the Chariot. And so this is talking about you're on the chariot, you're on the way, you're moving forward. My chariot is actually a yin-yang symbol, a ball that's spiraling and spinning. And so it's just representing that masculine and feminine energy, which we have right here, having that really in balance so that you can make really strong decisions using your intuition as well as your logic, and then applying that as a leader, and making the strongest, best decision that you can make for yourself and for others. And then we have worldly and otherworldly desires. So this is like talking about This is talking about being in the public image. So on top of it, it's like whatever you do, everybody's watching and waiting for your response, and they want you to go out and shovel the driveway, and you're like, leave me alone. And then this is about desires, and people can have, wish that they were the one that was on this journey of being a star, because it seems like, oh, it's overnight success and they have everything, but they don't see all the work that was put in to get to that position. That's the energy here. And so the final card here is the guiding star. So follow your North Star. And this is in your spiritual position. So your soul is yelling at you. You need to follow your guiding star. The guiding star is your North Star. And that's the star that guided the wise men to Jesus Christ when he was born in the stable. So that's the energy, using your intuition and listening to it. And quite often the cycles of the moon will tell you that. And that the Chinese zodiac, the new year is based on the lunar calendar. And so it can be very accurate when it comes to timing more than something else. So this has been a really good reading. I've really enjoyed it, Capricorn. It's talking about a lot of responsibility, but hey, Capricorn's used to that. That energy, having to, like, if you slide down the mountain a bit, just, okay, I'm going to have to pick myself up and I have to take another step in the right direction. That's the energy that we admire in the Capricorn energy. And thank you for your insight. Please do give this a like and a comment, and consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. It would be my honor if you did so. And bye for now. I will have another reading for you for the beginning of the month very soon here. And I got to wake up my little cat here.